It's time for the Trading Stocks Made Easy podcast. Each week, Trading Stocks Made Easy demystifies stock trading and investing so you can profit big. And now, here's the host of Trading Stocks Made Easy, the wealthy investor, Tyrone Jackson.
Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Tyrone Jackson, the wealthy investor, and welcome to episode 258, How the Rich Do It. Now, I thought I'd entertain this idea and explain to you that the rich people in America, especially if their wealth comes from the stock market, well, they live a little bit different than you and I. And that's what this episode is all about. But first, I thought it would be relevant if I stopped to talk to you about what's going on in the market right now, this summer in 2025. Well, we still have a president obsessed with tariffs, and by now, most economists thought that the tariffs that were enacted on Liberation Day, do you even remember that? They thought they would have a very negative effect on the economy by now. Turns out many publicly traded companies were very smart in how they dealt with their inventory, how much inventory they actually imported into the United States before the tariffs were enacted. And we as the consumer have not felt the biggest impact as a result of these tariffs. Remember, tariffs are essentially a tax on the American consumer. Because when you charge a company more to import their goods into the United States, they pass it along to us as consumers in the form of increased prices. However, what we have seen here in the United States are grocery prices creeping up on a regular basis. Now, if you are shopping at your local grocery store, what you pay for the same items over and over and over and over. And you've also noticed the price of eggs keep rising. It's the same thing with orange juice and a lot of other products. So where are prices accelerating? Mostly in groceries. And not too long from now, you're going to see the U.S. consumer looking for ways to save. Now, we all turn to the online world in order to make that happen, but we're going to see, as grocery prices rises, grocery discounters and outlets like Costco see increased revenue on a quarterly basis. Now, how do we choose good stocks, or good dates, as I like to put them, in the stock market? We're always looking for revenue increases on a quarterly basis. So, can you believe right now, part of the S&P, a lot of those companies have 15 to 20 straight quarters of top-line revenue growth. That means that they are making more and more money every 13 weeks. Don't forget Wealthy Investor Basics. What drives a stock price higher is top-line revenue, right? How much money did the company make this quarter versus next quarter? When you are on quarter 15 of revenue growth, your stock is going to go higher. And how do you and I get richer? By buying those companies. Really important to know. Compare and contrast that with putting your money in a mutual fund. You're paying someone to manage a fund and hopefully pick good stocks. Why would you do that if you could do that on your own? So we're in a market now where stocks that are not affected by tariffs are the ones that are going the highest, fastest. So remember that. If you stay within the S&P and the Dow Jones Industrial Average for your covered calls, which is income generating, it's an income generating trade. And if you stay within the Dow and the S&P in terms of holding stocks for a 5-year period, you have the greatest probability of building wealth. Now, let's talk about wealth if we're talking about how the rich do it. The rich invest in trends that are revenue generating. So, for example, we know that AI is about to usher in a series of new trends that make money for companies around the world. And when I say make money today, I'm referring to billions and billions and billions of dollars. What are the publicly traded companies that are the recipient of this new AI? It's not just one, it's going to be many. Well, the way we find that out is we find that out by reading quarterly earnings statement. So I'll give you one I've been talking about on this show a lot. And the ticker symbol is ORCL. Oracle, really a database company, now is building a whole new division that we've never seen before and housing other people's AI in the form of databases. So all that information that AI generates has to be stored somewhere. And we see a plethora of publicly traded companies that are now want to store their AI databases in Oracle's database. In fact, what they told us at the last earnings release is we can't even keep up with the demand. When a company comes out and tells the public we can't keep up with demand, that usually means the stock price is going higher. Check it out. Ticker symbol ORCL. I always say don't buy the stock if you don't understand the story. If you don't understand how the company actually generates revenue, you probably should not own that name. Even if you feel like you understand what the company does, investing is much more than just a feeling. You have to know what it means to the company's revenue on a top-line basis to predict the future growth of a company. If you don't know, that's why people come to me, so I can explain to you the major stories in the stock market, and you don't have to find or choose the companies on your own. And so in the Wealthy Investor Program, we have our live program, which not everybody can attend because that's New York and LA. And we also have a series of online programs, which more people attend. But we're coming up right now. We are 2 weeks from our big Maui intensive. Well, people say to me, well, Tyrone, if you have these live programs and you have courses that people can take online at thewealthyinvestor.net, why do you get your top students together every year and you go to Maui? Well, there are several reasons because we're 2 weeks out and I'm really excited. I'm actually planning the lesson right now as we speak because in Maui, we talk about things at a multi-million-dollar level. So if I am able to assist you to getting your brokerage account to over $1 million, great. But what happens to your account and your trading once you have that $1 million? That's what we do in Maui. For those of you who are going to be joining us in Maui, well, most of the people who attend already have $1 million or $500,000 or more. Wouldn't it be nice to be in the room with those people who've achieved that either in their retirement account or their cash account? Yes, because it's just like sports. If you want to play sports better, you want to be in a room with people who are more talented than you, more skillful than you, because that lifts up the quality of the whole room. Well, when you come and join the Wealthy Investor in Maui, not only are you going to be around some of the wealthiest people in the country, but they're all looking to upsize their talents and their skills. Therefore, you benefit. Now, every once in a while, we get some single people who sneak in there and think, well, I'm going to find my soulmate and my partner. I see this happen quite a bit. It took me some time to actually realize it. So they invest. They don't know really what's going on in the stock market. They figure, well, I'm going to fall in love with somebody or someone is going to fall in love with me. And most of the time, it just doesn't work because if you don't know enough about trading, you won't have enough in common to hold the conversations that go along during our daily seminars and the conversations that go on by the pool at night, which everybody tells me they love because that's where you all really get to know each other. But why do we do that? What's the other reason we have an event in Maui on an annual basis? All right. In the seminar business, we call this transformation. One of the ways that you change people's lives and you help them to transform is you take 2, 3, 4, or 5 days and you change their environment while you're hitting them with brand new information. That change in environment takes them away from their dog, their cat, their kids, their family, and they are free to focus on bigger ideas and faster money trades. So what's the first key to transforming your life is to go away with people who are more affluent than you are. Number 2 is an instructor who knows how to explain, in this case, the stock market to you in layman's terms and in professional terms. So sometimes people say to me, Tyrone, one of the reasons I've stuck with you for over a decade is because you have a way of explaining the stock market that makes it simple to me. I can understand that. And I call that process demystification. So what do you think we're working on in 2 weeks in Maui? We're working on not only covered calls and dividend collections, but also complex options trades like straddles. Now, this straddle thing has worked very well since the beginning of the year. It's where you buy a stock, you volatility trade, and then you own a call option on one side of the trade and a put option. These are derivatives. So a call option rises when your favorite stock goes up, and a put option rises when your favorite stock goes down. Now, let me say that again, because I know this is very easy to lose people here, because now we're getting into complex millionaire trades. If I own a stock, I can't control each day if it goes up or down. But your favorite stock is moving throughout the day, and some days, well, the stock seems to give $5 or more, and 3 days later, that stock is up. That is volatility at work. Imagine if you owned two instruments and you profited when your stock went down for $5 for a 1 or 2 day period, then it rises $7 and you profit from that rise. That's a very simple version of the straddle. Now, once you're at a point where you're earning $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 a month using the wealthy investor approach, at some point, you want to learn how to set up straddles, right? So wherever your favorite stock goes throughout the week, you're able to sell a call or a put as a profit, come back, reset the trade, and do it again. Now, this blows people's minds that there are trades in the stock market that are very fast money trades. Anyone can do them if they have the right financial education. And guess what? That's our primary focus this year in Maui. But is there another group of reasons why we actually go away to a 5-star hotel in Maui? The answer is yes, and I'll share that with you right after this break.
Want to increase your stock market trading profits? Then you need to start your monthly membership to WITradeschool.com right now. Don't understand how to write covered calls for monthly income? No problem. Simply review Tyrone's latest stock trades in our video library as many times as you need. WITradeschool.com is all about helping you get the financial education you need to earn money in the stock market and change your financial life. Tyrone Jackson, the wealthy investor, has helped his students earn thousands of dollars per month trading stocks online from home. These are people just like you. So what are you waiting for? Follow Tyrone Jackson's red-hot stock trades and investment strategies today. Don't wait. Start your monthly membership at WITradeschool.com right now.
And welcome back to Trading Stocks Made Easy, brought to you by thewealthyinvestor.net. I just have to throw that in there every once in a while. It's my own show, and I get to do my own commercials. Tyrone Jackson of thewealthyinvestor.net. Thanks for playing along. All right, we're talking about transformation and why the rich do certain things in life. Well, you'll find that whatever the rich does, they usually make sure that it is in some way, shape, or form tax deductible. Now, there's a lot of talk about taxes, tax deductibility, what is legal, what isn't legal, with something that just got signed into law, which the president calls the Big Beautiful Bill. Okay. Every administration wants to leave their mark on the country by having an economic impact. And in this last bill, unfortunately, there are a lot of people at the lower end of the socioeconomic spectrum who are going to pay a price. But also incorporated into this bill are tax cut for people who earn over $250,000 or more. Now, let's say that you are working for a living and you're earning about $5,000 to $6,000 a month as your gross. Does this bill hurt you? Well, it gives you some things while simultaneously taking away other privileges. But one thing that it doesn't touch is stock market gains, which we call capital gains. Now, the rich invest their money not only to make more money, but to also save on taxes. So if you started a business and that business was stock market trading, you can go away to all kinds of seminars and write them off. The government is actually going to give you credit on your taxes for having attended an event. We call that a tax deduction. So one of the things that I teach, and if time permits, I'll be running through this in Maui, once you get to a certain point, you want to start trading not only what we call your cash account that has your name attached to it, you want to start trading in a corporate account. Now, to set up a corporation isn't as complicated as you think. You can do it over the phone in most states. If you find a company that can incorporate you in a state, you can do it for about $500 or $600. Now, that corporation is entitled to a series of tax benefits against its gross income. That includes travel, hotel, meals, cell phones, copy machine, copy paper, all of that, because that corporation is a separate entity. It is a corp, a separate body, if you will. Now, when you have your own corporation and you're trading in the stock market, you don't have to have a lot of employees, but you're immediately going to start off generating income if you are covered call writing and using the wealthy investors approach. Well, if we know you have an income-generating approach, you need to spend some money to reduce your annual tax bill. And the rich do that all the time. Have you ever gone through a certain part of town and seen a restaurant or maybe an apparel shop and there just aren't that many people in that restaurant or that apparel shop, but yet that restaurant or apparel shop stays open year after year? That's because that business is someone's tax loss against their main income. Now, when you work for a living and you're on the wheel trading time for dollars, it's hard to imagine that you could actually start a business to lose money because you're making so much money elsewhere. But in the upper strata of wealth, that happens all the time. People learn how to start corporations to lose money because they're generating so much money elsewhere. And we see this a lot, particularly when it comes to stock market profits. These days, we see that when it comes to crypto profits, people forming corporations, reducing their taxes by having certain experiences. Now, I'm not a certified public accountant, so I can't tell you all of the ways in which you can create tax deduction against your stock trading business, but I'm handing out a list in Maui if we can get to it and through all of the trades. Because I want people now who are now six-figure traders because of the wealthy investor approach. That means they're making $100,000 or more just from trading. I want them to be aware of when it's time for them to make a transition to start trading in a corporation. But I can tell you there are 3 benefits for sure. Automobile ownership and leasing, when you like to be able to write off your car. Health insurance. If your company was paying for your health insurance out of the money that was generated for the stock market, wouldn't that be great? Yes. And believe it or not, well, all of those office expenses, your cell phone, your paper, your copier, your toner, right? Expenses that most of us pay out of pocket. Wouldn't that be nice if it was a corporate expense? Yes. So you see, building wealth is not just about making a lot of money. There are rules and there are advantages, and that's why you always want to work with someone on the tax side who understands those advantages. Now, if you have to travel all over the country and all over the world to go to seminars that give you additional education, do you see how you can build your lifestyle around that? And it is all legal, okay? So the wealth do it differently because they understand the tax law, even when it changes like it just changed a week ago. What am I saying to you? There are some major benefits to having the right financial education, not just your life and your lifestyle, but legal tax benefits that help you indulge in your lifestyle and stimulate the economy at the same time. So, stay with the wealthy investor approach. Markets are always evolving. Stocks that are hot today are not the ones that are going to be hot tomorrow, although we are in a trend right now where tariffs are hurting retailers and other companies are benefiting. You want to own the stocks of the companies that are benefiting from AI and the new world order from a tax perspective. So don't just focus on spending your money, focus more on learning how money works. And as my father used to say, how it flows through the system. And it's probably something you'll be very good at. And if you need a teacher, I'm always here to help. Hey, listen, this is Tyrone Jackson, the Wealthy Investor, saying thank you for joining me for this particular episode, episode 258, How the Rich Do It. And who knows, maybe I'll see you in Maui at our big event sooner rather than later.
You've been listening to the Trading Stocks Made Easy podcast. Be sure to rate and review our show on iTunes. While you're on iTunes, be sure to click the subscribe button and you'll automatically receive our next episode.